can't see it.
You will.
Two movies, two acts of God. The Wizard of Oz there first, of course, and the second from a movie called Twister. Now, this is the first blockbuster movie of the season. It tells the story of storm chasers. Those are the hardy and sometimes foolhardy scientists who actually chase down tornadoes to figure out how these frightening marvels of nature work. Okay, Hollywood's take on Twisters may be fun for ordinary filmgoers, but can it stand up to the scrutiny of experts?
Colleen Jones is the weather forecaster on the CBC Morning News in Halifax, and Pat McCarthy is a severe weather meteorologist with Environment Canada in Winnipeg and a storm chaser himself. Good afternoon to both of you.
Hello.
Hi. Pat, you've been a storm chaser. How accurate was Twister?
Actually, Twister was remarkably accurate. It stretched the truth once in a while, but in general, it was very accurate. They used the right lingo, and the tornadoes looked remarkably realistic.
Did they turn the right way, Pat?
Yes, they did. Actually, tornadoes can turn both ways, but most of them turned the way they did in this movie.
Pat, let me just ask you briefly, why would you want to be a storm chaser?
Well, as a meteorologist, I have a fascination with weather, but there's a lot of things we don't know about tornadoes and severe storms. Scientists can't observe and measure storms in the laboratory. We actually have to go out to the storms and tornadoes to make our observations.
Colleen, did you think that the star of this movie was the Twisters, or did the plot have something to do with it as well?
Oh no, this was all special effects, definitely. They did an incredible job. Of course, they spent $15 million on their special effects. You could have put any actor in this and it wouldn't have mattered. It was still going to be a great movie because of the special effects. I mean, it just came at you one after another after another. Nobody's leaving the theater in this one. It was such a thriller, but without question, the special effects, the tornadoes make it.
Well, let's take a look at some of that $15 million. Here's a clip from Twister, the movie.
Debris, Dusty, we have debris!
Debris!
Right! Left! Right!
What now?
I have no idea.
Pat, the Gulf War didn't have effects like this. How accurate is that? Can heavy farm equipment be tossed around like dinky toys?
Oh, definitely. The tornado they were chasing was one of the strongest tornadoes that they've been looking for, and tornadoes not as strong can actually hurl vehicles a great distance. In this case, these were combines and tractors. Storm chasers normally don't want to get that close because you don't want these equipment raining down on you.
But how close have you come to a tornado?
Chasing, it's been, I haven't been able to see a tornado chasing. I actually saw the Edmonton tornado though when I was working at the office, and it just missed our office by about 10 blocks. It was over 1 kilometer wide when it passed us though.
What was in the debris field of that one?
It didn't look like much, but in reality the pieces were probably big chunks of warehouses. There were vehicles being thrown around in the Edmonton tornado as well.
Zounds.
And a lot of people were saying to me, okay, the cow flying through the air was a bit much, but there's a tornado story out of Saskatchewan where it's great folklore when a tornado hit there. The cow landed upside down, the horns in the ground. It was still alive. They got it out. He was none the worse for wear. So it is amazing.
You needed counseling probably after that, though.
Hey, it was fine. And I was talking to the people in Ontario last week about the tornadoes that hit there the end of April. And I said, are you going to the movie? He said, lady, I've lived the movie. I ain't going to see the movie. But I mean, the damage, and they got no warning there, even on Ontario, and that was certainly not the F5, which we saw in the climax of the movie. But there, it just came like that.
Well, Colleen, that seems to be, that seems to be one of the points of the movie, isn't it? That there is no warning system. In the movie, I think they said about the most warning you can give, really, is 15 minutes, or perhaps it was even less.
Yeah, well, that is the thing. I was talking to a person that was also in a tornado in Kansas, and they said they might have got 3 minutes warning to get into their storm cellar, but it was every bit like the movie.
Yeah.
And I think we've all been in instances, even in just gale force winds, where you feel like that roof is going to come off of your house, and it scares you. And you just know that the damage that Mother Nature can do, it's very intimidating to think of what can happen just like that.
Pat, when you found out that people were making a movie about what you have done to make a living, what did you think? Was there a buzz among the people who've actually spent time chasing storms?
Oh, definitely. Any movie where meteorologists are the heroes, you gotta like.
Oh, and there's so many of them too, Pat, aren't there?
That's right, that's right. So we've been anticipating this would be a big movie. We knew that they spent a lot of money on the special effects, and even that impressed me. It was better than I expected. But we're hoping, of course, that people realize that these things happen, and maybe they'll take better precautions, because this is the severe weather season across Canada now.
Go ahead, Colleen.
For people like Pat and I, this is a vindication, sort of, because people take the weather for granted. Oh, it's just the weather.
Oh yeah, there were even some jokes about
so
TV weathermen in the.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, they were snubbing him because he had gone off to be a weather forecaster as opposed to studying these storms. But the weather, people are obsessed by the weather. It's always a topic of conversation, and we're always fascinated by it. So to see a movie at it, it's like a little like when broadcast news came out. You go, look, there's our industry.
Right. Now, the thing about it, Pat, is that it seems that the storm watchers, the storm chasers, were treated like cowboys and cowgirls. Right. They had a kind of devil-may-care attitude about themselves, putting themselves in considerable danger. Aren't they more scientific than that? Isn't it a more serious undertaking than that?
Yes, in general, the scientists take a far more serious approach to this. We don't normally get that close to the tornadoes as well. These people in the movie were hit 3 times by a tornado and not a scratch on them. So they stretch the truth a little that way. We want to be able to do this as safely as possible. However, there are people out there who aren't scientists who actually go chasing, and they put themselves at a great risk because they really don't understand the nature of severe storms and tornadoes. One
of the issues in the movie was, what kind of music do you listen to when you're on your way to a tornado? I mean, what was your choice, Pat?
Normally, actually, I listen to AM radio because I get better reports and you can hear lightning activity, but the buzz amongst the chasers across North America, other than the tornado, they've been discussing chase music. So actually, chase music is a very popular topic among chasers.
And of course,
go ahead.
I'd be in my basement with a mattress over me, crying and praying. That's where we television people would be.
Yeah, listening to your relaxation tapes, I guess.
Yes, just breathe. You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Well, Colleen, what is it like for you? I mean, when you're in Halifax and you're reporting on a tornado out in the west somewhere, in the plains, what is it like for you as a meteorologist to get that information?
Well, unfortunately, I'm not a meteorologist. I'm just a weather presenter, just, like so many other weather people. And it's people like Pat who are doing all the hard work, and we're the ones that try to put it into layman's language. Sometimes we do it well, sometimes we don't do it well. But people are always commenting on the weather. They always come up and say, oh, I like this, and you do this well, and you do that well. They're quite fascinated by the weather.
Okay, Pat, we know that meteorologists rate tornadoes on a scale of 1 to 5. On a scale of 1 to 5, what do you rate Twister the movie? Well, despite being a very poor plot in this movie, it was quite a spectacle, so I'll give it an F4 tornado. Okay, Pat. And Colleen, what do you think?
We didn't plan this, but I too like Pat. I'm an F4 on this one. It was great.
Unanimity, I love it. Thanks very much to both of you for being with us.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
When we come back,